The hit TV show The Boys has given us perhaps the greatest supervillain of all time. I mean, if Homelander isn't outright number 1, he's gotta be somewhere in the top 10 or 5. And one of my favorite aspects of Homelander's character is that he wants other people to view him as the hero, but he feels like he's outright better than everyone. I mean, when you're clearly the strongest individual on planet Earth, I suppose it'd be hard not to have an inflated ego or a god complex. But Homelander's constant need to have the adoration and love of his fans is really the only thing that keeps him from going completely psycho, at least when he's in the public eye. And this inner conflict of wanting to be viewed as the world's greatest hero, but really being a despicable and grotesque individual deep down, is fascinating to see get played out. I think the fact that Homelander wasn't raised in a family and is a test tube baby that was made in a lab is the source of a lot of his deep-seated mental issues. You see, throughout the series, despite being technically capable of doing anything, Homelander largely does the bidding of others, or at the very least, does his best to please someone else. In Season 1, this individual is Madison Stillwell, as he views Stillwell as a pseudo-mother figure, and also has a weird sexual obsession with her. And this results in an interesting dynamic where he wants a level of control over her, but also to please her. We see this as Homelander shoots down a plane with an anti-Stillwell government official on it, peddles Compound V to terrorists to force the US government to allow Supes into the military, yet he gets upset when the Deep goes to Stillwell to tell her about finding the shot down plane before going to Homelander. While Homelander does want to please Stillwell, he doesn't like feeling like she is above him or has power over him, and this conflict of interest within Homelander makes him rather unstable. In episode 2 of season 1, we see Homelander decide he's going to find Translucent himself, so he goes to an IT worker and demands to know where Translucent was last seen. And when she initially declines to share this information with Homelander, he says, "Listen, Anika, I'm the Homelander, and I can do whatever the fuck I want." And the way he says this comes off a bit as if he's trying to prove it to himself. You see, I don't think he particularly gives a shit about Translucent. I think he just wants to find him because Stillwell told him not to worry about it. And this is a small way of Homelander trying to disobey Stillwell or trying to supersede her in the hierarchy of power. And it is pretty petty and almost childlike in a way, which harkens back to the fact that he never had a proper childhood or parents. We get more of a glimpse into this void left from not having parents when Homelander talks to his son Ryan in season 2. Truth is, I never had a dad or a mom. See, sometimes it's hard, Ryan, being superior to every single other person on the planet. It's isolating, and God should not have to feel that kind of pain. Not only does this give us a glimpse into Homelander's desire to have that undying, unconditional love of a parent, as he feels isolated without it, but it further establishes his God complex and his desire for power, which again seem to be contradictory things in a way, as one of the main jobs of a parent is to protect their children, and Homelander clearly does not want to feel like someone has power over him. And in the season 1 finale, we see Homelander kill Stillwell when he realized that she didn't actually love him, or have that parental kind of unconditional care for him, which meant she was just using him the whole time. And in her absence, Stormfront steps in and becomes the person that Homelander looks to for guidance and unconditional love. And we see that there's a power struggle of sorts between the two when they first get romantically involved, as they throw each other around the room while they get it on, and she even demands Homelander to hit her with his laser vision. And this is really the first time that Homelander has been able to be loved and accepted for who he truly is. Stormfront sees who he really is and not only accepts it, but demands it from him, which is something that Stillwell could never do. This starts Homelander down a path where he begins feeling more comfortable showing more of himself to the public, though he still needs that fan adoration, so he can't go 100% psychopathic in public, at least not yet. Wanting this recognition and love of his fans has always been the main thing keeping Homelander somewhat in check, and we see this yet again at the end of season 2, after Ryan nearly kills Stormfront in a fit of rage, as he allows Ryan to be taken away by Billy when Maeve threatens to leak a recording of the plane crashing caused by Homelander to the public. The one thing he's wanted for his entire life is love and a family, but he lets it walk away from him because he needs that love of his fans even more. But in season 3, we see Homelander progressively get more and more unhinged with the absence of a person guiding him. Stillwell is gone, and now so is Stormfront, which means Homelander is alone with his thoughts, isolated once again. And this leads to Homelander cracking in public at his birthday celebration when he says, "I don't make mistakes. I'm not just like the rest of you. I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better. I am better. And after over 2 seasons of him saying you're the real heroes to the public, he finally admits that he views himself as the real hero. And when he sees that some people start to accept and love this side of him, well, suddenly the plane crash video doesn't keep him in check anymore. Go ahead, release it. Let's light this candle, huh? I mean, sure, I'll lose everything, but then I'll have nothing to lose. Homelander then proceeds to threaten to burn the world to the ground, essentially, as it is clear that being able to show more of his real and arrogant version to the public is making it harder to keep him in check, as he is more liable to do just about anything. We see an example of this in Season 3 when Homelander realizes that Black Noir knew Soldier Boy was his father this whole time, as Homelander punches a hole in the abdomen of the man who he viewed as his closest friend. The combination of feeling more comfortable being himself and truly doing whatever he wants, with his lifelong desire to have that unconditional love of a parent, leads him to kill Black Noir. And if he's willing to do that to a friend who he viewed as truly being useful, what might he do to everyone else? I also think the fact that he's so easily manipulated and unstable makes him so much more terrifying than if he was sound of mind, as this means he's liable to do anything, and since he can physically do just about anything, there's not much of a limit to the wrath he could bring down upon society. And Ryan was really the big potential counter that we could have had against Homelander down the line, but now that he's being taken under his dad's wing, well, the potential counters to Homelander are looking kind of bleak. And by the end of Season 3, we see Homelander laser the shit out of a random civilian and get cheered for it. So now that he knows he can act like that in the public and not lose the love of many of his fans, well, I think we might start to see the true Homelander more often, and that is a truly terrifying thought. All in all, I think Homelander is a truly fascinating and complex villain with an interesting inner struggle within himself throughout the show, as his need to feel absolute power and to feel unconditional love makes him highly unstable and liable to do just about anything. And given that his powers allow him to physically do just about anything, Homelander may be one of the most terrifying supervillains of all time. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed, please feel free to drop a like or subscribe, and if you have any strong Homelander thoughts, I'd love to hear them in the comments.